What's up, everybody? This is Marco Hill. I'm at the National Museum of African American History and Culture. We Act Radio. Do something.
All right, we hot, brother. All right, good morning. This is Mo Freeman, Angry Black Man Therapy, representing We Act Radio on the Radical Side, Marquis Avenue. I'm joining this lovely day, October the 16th, anniversary of the Million Man March, anniversary of Harper's Ferry, John Brown raid, the start of the Civil War, and also the anniversary of the MLK Memorial Monument dedication. And also my 20th anniversary of being unemployable since I got fired from the post office. So, welcome. I'm joined here today by I'm sandwiched here with two good people here. We're here to talk about Ward 8. Let's commemorate, help us identify people and events to be honored in Ward 8. This is by the Anacostia Business Improvement District, our bid. And nominations are open until October 27th. You can get more information on this link provided to you shortly after this live stream here. But it's Ward 8 commemorative work. All right, so I'm joined here today by
Colorful Bobo
and
Troy Dante Presswood.
all right, now I'm gonna kick this off because we're talking about one of the things that We Act Radio was founded upon is an African proverb: until the lions have their own until the lions have their own historians, the tales of the hunt will continue to glorify the hunter. Meaning we have to tell our own stories because otherwise someone else will tell the story, and it usually gets discombobulated when that happens. And this is an opportunity for us to lift people up and tell those stories. And I think since this is now recognized by the mayor as the art district of the city, I want to acknowledge our unsung hero, Miss Peggy Cooper Capers, who was the driving force behind Duke Ellington and an avid art collector and an avid advocate for the arts and also addressing the economic disparities in the city. Now, yes, she did create this school, but it doesn't bear her name. I think that, and we do have one woman statue in the city is Mary McLeod Bethune, and Dorothy Irene Hike is responsible for that. Okay, so that means we still have to tell our story. So my suggestion is for Miss Peggy Cooper Capers, and I want to pass the mic to get you guys involved and excited about who you think we should be lifting up. And we'll start with our elders first. And Troy, we got the caboose.
Good morning. I think that the person that should be recognized, especially in the Ward 8 area, is Wilhelmina Rolla. She was the longest serving council member that we've had for Ward 8. She was an outstanding representative for Ward 8. At that time, the community flourished as far as education. We had outstanding schools, we had outstanding after-school programs, and I don't see anything that has rivaled that since.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's a good one because Wilhelmina Rolla was the first person to give me a check. So I definitely want to shout her out. We was doing the Black Love Festival. The first person to write me a check was Dr. Wilhelmina Rolla. So God bless her. All right, Troy?
Yeah, first of all, I want to say in terms of Peggy Cooper Capers, this is a woman who I knew and adored, and I think she would be a great addition to our city in one of the other wards, right? You know, because we have 8 wards, and Ward 8, I think we have to be laser focused on who has been toiling in the earth here, in the soil here, in this chocolate side of town. So, you know, rather than me suggesting who I think people should select, I think what I just want to remind people is the selection criteria, because I think, you know, most people are confused about how you can get nominated. And it's not just a person, it can be an event as well. And I was reminded this morning as I was looking through my notes about on September 11th, about a month ago, back in 2001, we had the plane crash with those kids and students and teachers from Lucky and Ketchum. I think it was American Airlines 77 crashed into the Pentagon, and it took out those precious souls. And you know, as long as it's been 10 years past the date of the event or a person's passing, you could nominate that. And so I don't think there's any major memorial or commemorative artwork on those individuals, for example. So it could be something like an event. Again, it could be a person. Wilhelmina Rolla is certainly someone who I think people love and adore. It could be a number of folks. I'm also reminded about Diamond Tea, which is over there's a Diamond Teak Park that's over in Navy Yard, or really Yards Park, right outside of the Nationals Park there. And Diamond Teak was a young man who lived here in Anacostia. Just to wrap up Diamond Teak, I mean, he was a young man who lived here in Anacostia, and he was part of the watershed program over there in Anacostia watershed program. And 10 years passed since his death. Again, we lost him to community violence, and they worked with his family to create that park over there, right outside of where they worked at. And this was a young man who was working with the park people there. He was helping to mentor young people as well. And he was doing everything we asked our young people to do. And so this is an example of the type of people who we could honor and commemorate right here in Ward 8.
All right, so we're talking about the Ward 8 community work, honoring some people in our communities, and it don't have to only be from Ward 8. You're eligible citywide, but you want to definitely come out to the event here in Anacostia, Thursday, October the 19th at 5:30 at the Anacostia Arts Center. It's a nomination event. There will be performances, snacks, and refreshments. Again, that's this Thursday, October the 19th, 5:30 p.m. at Anacostia Arts Center, and you can be part of the nomination event and fellowship with some other people as we kick around some names to make sure that we get some of the people that we care about and the ones that we think needs to be uplifted, our unsung heroes, if you will. All right, so these are community heroes and the stories that they need to tell. Now I'm gonna turn it back over to Barbara. Tell me why you think it's so important for us to honor ourselves and tell our stories, and how that has been an impact in your opinion.
Thank you. I think we have to tell our story because, especially in Ward 8, there's an image of Ward 8 being underrepresented in the economy in the city and throughout the community, the old city of D.C. And I know for a fact that a lot of our community has now expanded, and a lot of the people that grew up and have lived in our community have moved away, but they got their foundation here in Ward 8. And that's what I look at. I went to a church service yesterday, and the pastor who's responsible for a millions and $1 million project came from Ward 8. And these are things that they never come back to tell our community. They make us feel like, that we're the underclass, when actually we're the leaders. I know young men that I coached during my years as a football coach that went on to be Air Force pilots and officers in the Army and different things. These are the proud parts of the community that never get told. And that's what I think that we need to start reinforcing.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people don't know some of the history right here. Don Peebles, the largest black developer in the country. Well, usually very rare that we acknowledge a developer, but Don Peebles' first building is right here on Martin King Avenue. The government building right here on Martin King Avenue. He got it with the help of Manberry with no money down, and it was he has had a long, illustrious career around the country. But he got it started right here in Ward 8 on Martin King Avenue. We got the world's biggest chair right here on Martin King Avenue. And so we're also about to be home to the 11th Street Bridge Park, which is going to be the first pedestrian bridge, and going to have a lot of tourists here. So we got to make sure that we have a different mode operandi in terms of development east of the river than we've seen all over the city, because we don't want Anacostia to end up like Shaw, or Anacostia to end up like Georgetown. And we have all these things to look at to inform us how to move forward. So I hope some heroes in the activist space in terms of housing justice will be names in those hats. I haven't heard any of those yet. Hopefully this Thursday, October 19th at 5:30 p.m. at Anacostia Arts Center, we're gonna have that type of conversation. But Troy, what else do you think is important about this project and its significance? And again, we got a special performance by verbal gymnastics. If y'all have never seen it, you might want to come out Thursday. But Troy, I'll leave it to you.
Oh yeah. Well, and let me just say to your question that you asked, Mr. Bobo, about history. I mean, here's the great news about this project, and that is that while in Georgetown and DuPont and Reno Park and Shaw and Eckington, many of us have moved on. We've died. We've moved on. We've been forced out, right? And by some measure, we're still here. And this is an opportunity to honor and to reflect and to remember on our community while we're here. And so that's how history goes on. That's how we carry it on, by continuing the legacy while we're here, while we are the ones to make that decision for how we want to honor our communities and not have others create a Disney-fied version of what it means to live in Ward 8, right? But, you know, someone asked me the other day about this project. So where will we put these things? Where will they go up? And I'm glad you mentioned the 11th Street Bridge Park. There is obviously an opportunity there once that's built, and I'm told it's going to go up sometime next year or start construction next year. But then there's also these ovals, these newly created ovals that are part of Ward 8. We have that's created part of the Frederick Douglass Bridge project. So we have an oval on this side of the river, and we have one on the other side too that we share with Ward 6. But the point is that we have an opportunity to put art right in the middle of those ovals there to honor people and events and activities that we feel are worthy. So I've been, you know, deliberately not saying who and what, because I really want to encourage people who are going to come out on Thursday to bring their ideas. I want them to put on their thinking caps. I want you to think big and wide. The only criteria is that they need to have, or the event needs to have happened 10 years or more ago. So come on out Thursday, like you mentioned, Kimon, and let's talk about, you know, who we can honor, what we should honor, and where we should put those legacies, those histories here in our ward.
All right. Unfortunately, Phil Purnell is too young for us to honor with a sculpture yet, but rest assured that it's going to be one coming, brother. You know, so
I'm still alive.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's just a matter of technicality.
That's the main thing.
That's just a matter of technicality. But we're talking
He's
about
still alive. I don't know if people heard him yet.
Keep hope alive. Well, Baba, we have 4 locations, and we need to make sure it was clear. We're talking about sculptures. That these would be sculptures. So these things themselves would be a work of art. So it's not just a name. What type of sculpture do you think would be befitting for Wilhelmina Rolla? You know, you want her to stand up, you want her to sit down, because people got issue with Carl G. Woodson sitting down. You know, but he was reading a book, so I kind of let that one go. But what you think?
Personally, like I said, I relate to how the community's education system flourished under Ms. Rolla, and I would like to see something with her in the community, and something like I believe it's Roosevelt has a sculpture with him and kids. I would like to see something like that, showing the scholar movement that we had in our ward during her time.
Okay. I would like to see her write me a check. That would be the sculpture. Right? This is the first check Kimon Freeman got, and I hope I made her proud from that check. It set up a series of events, and we ended up with React Radio. So thank you, William Rolla. So I'm so honored you said her name. Thank you. Thank you. Troy, I know you got to get out of here. We got to get ready for our line 2, but I want to close in comments. Are you going to be at the event on Thursday? Or are you going to be at the event on Thursday to enjoy not only this spectacular performance by verbal gymnastics? If y'all have not seen playback theater, I suggest y'all, that's worth the price of admission right there. All right, Troy?
Yeah, so this is homecoming week. This is Howard homecoming week, HU, you know. So I'm trying, listen, I'm pulled in every which direction, but this is so important to me that I want to be here at least today to talk about what's happening on Thursday and to make sure that people come out and bring your ideas, bring your perspectives, bring your, you know, no idea is really crazy, right? We want to hear from everyone and just coming out and be a part of this event. Obviously hear from Robot Gymnastics, but also meet the whole team that's behind this. It's not what you think. Some people say, oh, well, this is other people coming in pushing this on our community. It's not. It is us. It is for us, by us. So I invite you to come out and be a part of it. And Kimon, just like you said, you know, our brother Philip there, at some point we will honor him. I think for the work that you're doing with We Act Radio and, you know, social justice, at some point, you'll be on that list too, brother, but not too soon. Right?
Yeah, not too soon. We're still alive. We're still alive.
Not too soon.
But my brother, we're going to see you Thursday, the 19th at 5:30 Anacostia.
Yes, I'll make every effort to be there. I think it's important for us to have that history displayed and everything I can do to work toward that goal, I'll be there.
All right. So I look forward to seeing you there. I look forward to seeing you there. And thank y'all for your time and attention. But hold tight. We got another crew that we're going to speak to. Brothers, thank y'all both for joining us here at We Are Great on the Rock Side, Martin King Avenue. And I should have started the program with a pause of a silence for the genocidal loss of life in Israel and Palestine right now. I hope that we have a peaceful solution. But I would like to see more boycott, divest, and sanctions. All right? All right. Coming up, Mr. Panel, and also the HNIC of the Anacostia Business Improvement District, Miss Christine. We're going to talk about this wonderful concept and this wonderful program and this wonderful project. And I just wanted to turn it over to the people that's bringing it to us, and also going to tell us more about it. And so Mr. Panel joins us here. All right, I feel like there's a round of applause virtually going out for you right now. Virtual applause for you. Hollow ground. Congratulations on being recognized for your over 30 years of service. Yeah. Thank you for being recognized. I hope all those checks was bona fide, as you say, that you was able to raise. I turn it to Ms. Christine.
Thank you so much, Kimon. This is really an honor to be able to be on your show, to be able to celebrate what we're trying to do in nominations and commemorative works in this community, Ward 8. And I want to make sure, you just introduced our illustrious guests, but and let's just jump right into it. So on Thursday, October 19th, I apologize, 5:30 p.m. Let me say October 19th again. At 5:30 p.m. at the Anacostia Arts Center, we're going to be coming together to celebrate and provide nominations to the Office of Planning for the District of Columbia of people that we think in Ward 8 that should be commemorated. And we should really spend the time making sure that Ward 8 residents and businesses share that information. Because one of the things that we don't want to do is have those decisions made for us. We want to make sure that they understand the people that are important that helped shape us, get that recognition. So let's start with you, Mr. Pinnell. Give us a couple of names or your thoughts around, who should be commemorated? Who should we be nominating?
Thank you, Christina. I heard the previous panel, and I really love the idea of Peggy Cooper K-Fritz. I served as her executive assistant when she was president of the DC Board of Education, and also I was the chairman of her campaign when she was elected board chair. And you mentioned Willoughby Roloff, and I also served on her staff and worked with her husband, because Dr. Calvin Roloff and Wilhelmina Roloff were a team, and they were responsible for helping start the Martin Luther King Jr. Parade. Yeah. And our parade is one of the oldest, if not the oldest, in the country, because the parade actually predates the establishment of the federal holiday. And we basically have really nothing in the community to commemorate them. And then the United Black Fund, which was a major organization in terms of African American philanthropy. Yeah. But in addition to people, you said there are also events.
Absolutely.
Right? And I think that that's really important, that we highlight some of the events that have happened over a period of time. Unfortunately, we live in a community where there are times when people are well-intentioned about starting events, but yet they do not stand the test of time. I'm sure that we've all gotten flyers about announcing we're going to have the first annual this,
right? And
it never makes it to the second. And by the way, there's no such concept of first annual. It's kind of off because nothing is really annual until you've done it the second time. if we look at the annual events here in this community, there are few, unfortunately, that have stood the test of time. The parade, Martin Luther King's parade, Congress Heights,
Yeah.
Community, the Congress Heights Community Association's annual parade, Congress Heights Day, has been going on. And please forgive me for the shameless plug, but the Anacostia Coordinating Council boat ride just had its 30th boat ride. What was that, 2 Saturdays ago? You were both on it.
It was great.
435 activities.
Yeah.
3 decades is nothing to sneeze at. And I hope that that will be happening decades, scores, centuries, or when I'm long gone. But that's another event that is very important to our community. So I will be there. Like on Thursday, you are serving food, right?
There'll be food.
Okay, all
there'll
right.
be beverages.
Because I give top priority in terms of scheduling events that feed me.
You will be fed.
All right.
Thank you so much, and everything that you shared was really powerful.
Mm-hmm.
People tend to forget the things that are just normalized. Like for 30 years, everyone knows the boat ride.
Yeah.
Everyone, of course, is involved in the Martin Luther King parade. And these aren't things that typically people think of as to nominate to be commemorated. So make sure you put that down, think about that, and think about other opportunities in that way to nominate. Robin McKinney, thank you so much.
No worries.
Commissioner Robin McKinney. I'll pose the same question to you.
Okay.
Let us know a couple of names, couple of events, or whatever you're thinking that should be nominated.
Yes. Hello, everyone. Thanks for having me here. I want to echo some of the people George's name, but we can't forget about Miss Linda Moody. Linda Moody was a big pillar in our community that's still alive, and she advocated for children in Ward 8 to make sure that they was able to go to college. But we didn't have to go off, to other campuses or other places to take SAT to go to college. She advocated very, very hard, and she was very adamant about making sure that the kids had the after-school programs and summer jobs and tutoring and everything. And she would come up to the school and make sure those type of things was done. And also, she was one of the reasons why Ballou had the daycare. Hart was the first, and Ballou was the second to have a child care facility in the school for young teens who was practicing for teen pregnancy. So it was a lot of things that was put in place because of Linda Moody, and sometimes we forget when we don't see people out in the open, and we have to realize some people are not able to attend functions, able to come out, but they made a big difference in our community, and we can't forget about them.
100%, and we won't forget about them. We do have to, for the commemorative works, for the Office of Planning, commemorate those that have passed at least 10 years. However, that's extremely important and extremely powerful in what you're saying, and we need to make sure that we keep up with our seniors, especially those that have done so much in our community, and make sure that we acknowledge that. This is for this. We definitely have to have. There's certain criteria that have been made with regard to the city and this type of event. But thank you so much for that. One of the things that I've felt that we're kind of lacking in making sure that we pay homage to are the Anacostia Tank Indians that were here. One of three tribes that were here, but that was the largest one. But at the same time, they were the largest trading group that were here, Native Americans. And then when Europeans and others moved in here, within 40 years, that had changed. It had been, they had been displaced, things just changed dramatically for them. And that is a tribe that not too many are around anymore. Oh, sure. And they were stationed, their main focus where they stayed was on the southeast Anacostia River, our side of the river. So I do think that that is a group that should be acknowledged, that there should be some sort of commemoration there. And I think it could be because they paved the way, and also with the Anacostia bid, where our name's associated with the Anacostia River, because it serves and touches the communities that we serve. And so that's a group that I think is really important. And I know you had some other things to share.
Particularly if you want to uplift the names of neighborhoods, particularly which help to establish people's sense of place as well as community traditions, we should think about the civic associations. Unfortunately, Ward 8 is the ward with the fewest number of civic associations, because so many of them have just disappeared. But when you look at the civic associations that we do have, they've been around for decades. And the civic associations actually predate advisory neighborhood commissions, because the advisory neighborhood commissions come about with the Home Rule Act. But you had civic associations that were in place decades before Home Rule. Fair Law, Congress Heights, Hillsdale Community Association, which was part of the landmark Supreme Court case that was a companion case to Brown versus Board of Education. And we should always keep in mind that here in Anacostia, we have the Heritage Trail.
Yes.
You go through, and there are only two communities that have that, Anacostia and Deanwood.
Yes.
So when you see those big posters with those pictures, people should look at them and read them, because I think they would serve as a catalyst for remembering what was actually going on in this community. And once again, another shameless plug, but the Anacostia Coordinating Council was part of that project, the development, of our Heritage Trail. So maybe we should all get together one day and actually walk the trail, have refreshments at each one. And not everyone who's pictured on that is deceased. And for those people who are still alive, actually have them standing there to talk about their experiences, and it would also help us get some exercise.
I think that would be great. I know how you put that plug in for food at each stop. Happy to do it. Happy to do it. And Robin, did you have? I'm going to say this, and I know most people are saying this anyway, but Frederick Douglass over here seems just like we need to really kind of pay attention to that.
Very much.
As this project has made me really dig deeper about myself and about the community and what's happened in the past, and really do the research. There are some really amazing people. Make sure, if you're looking for ideas, look at the Smithsonian Community Museum. They're inducting Anacostia residents that have done significant, amazing work into like a Hall of Fame, and that's a great place to take a look. And that our Good Hope Road is going to be Marionberry Avenue soon. Actually, it is. We just need to make that actual change. As I was looking into that, that's a road that Frederick Douglass used to walk every day for 15 years. I had no idea that that was part of his path almost every day. So, there's so much rich cultural history and how we've grown as a community available for anyone to take a look at. It's just a quick search. But Robin, did you have anything else you wanted to add?
Yes, I also would like to add, this is one of the reasons why we expanded the historic district in Anacostia, because we have so much history that wasn't notified and wasn't identified on the map. So that was one of the reasons why I advocated and voted hardly to expand the historic district, because we have so much history amongst Marine Ave, as we all just said, that we've changed formerly Good Hope Road, MLK. It's a lot of history here. I live across the street from Frederick Douglass' house, and a lot of our kids don't know the history of Frederick Douglass. A lot of people don't know that Frederick Douglass actually lived there. They thought it's just like a historic landmark that you can go in and just see some items and, read the history behind Frederick Douglass. So that's very, very important, to make sure the culture is still here, in the community. So once we're long gone, the kids can come back, and I gotta, Phil have done this. I remember meeting Phil when I was a little girl, running around, and little skirts on, and he would be out there, get out here, stay living. I'm saying he was out here, advocating, and we would run out. I ran by because, we got paid to do it, things like that. We was part of Parks and Rec. That was a big thing. And he would recruit kids to come on, get them kids out here. And I remember as a child, and I just want to say thank you to you, and it's an honor to meet you, Trustee Noel, with the Anacostia bid and what you have done. I didn't even realize what a bid, business district was in a community until I met you. And it brought more, knowledge to other people, the Anacostia bid, my girlfriend said, what is the bid, and things like that. So it's a lot of history here in Anacostia, and we want to keep that history knowledgeable so the community can know about it.
Another thing is our churches. Particularly those churches that have been in existence for more than 100 years. I remember when Ward 7 did a project with, it was the DC Humanities Council on the historic churches of Ward 7. And the main criteria was that the church had to be in existence for 100 years. They did a brochure of the churches in Ward 7 that were more than 100 years, and they did a video. They had a panel discussion at the Anacostia Community Museum. We should do that here in here in Ward 8. You mentioned Frederick Douglass. As a matter of fact, a couple of months ago when I was tabling at a community event, a little kid came up and asked me if I knew Frederick Douglass. If I remember my history well, that the day he died, there were he was supposed to been speaking at Campbell AME church, and which I believe is almost like nearly 150 years old. So, and that the congregation was waiting for him, and that then the word came that the Lion of Anacostia, had died. And talking about Good Hope Road or Marionberry Avenue, if you read Louise Hutchinson's book, The Anacostia Story, it talks about how the Native Americans, again, call that what we call Good Hope Road, the trail to justice. Yes. And you must remember, before Martin Luther King Avenue was named as such, it was Nicholas Avenue, which was named after the first superintendent of St. Elizabeth's Hospital. And before it was named after him, it was called Asylum Road.
Okay.
So it's just really important. I just love what you're doing. Because it's important to people. So many times we are oblivious to the obvious. There are kids and some teachers who are in buildings, in school buildings, for a considerable amount of time in their lives, and they have absolutely no idea who their schools are named after, unless it's named after someone like George Washington or Martin Luther King.
Right.
That's very important. You ask people who may have been born and raised on the street and still living there, who their street is named after, and many times people don't know. So as I say, this is great what you're doing, and we need to do more of it.
So I think that was a call to create a partnership and to do some community walks and really dive into our culture for this area. We're in historic Anacostia at WEAC Radio. Let me also say this to you. You're invited. In fact, you need to be there on Thursday, October 19th at 5:30 p.m., the Anacostia Arts Center, Ward 8 Commemorative Works. We need to nominate those in our community, those events, those people that have really helped to shape what we do and have really contributed to our past. There's a very long list of those that are actually from Anacostia or Ward 8 that have done amazing works, but there are also those that are all over Washington, D.C. that helped us, especially as Kimon and Phil had mentioned, Ms. K. Fritz, and us being an arts and culture district, super important. Also want to make sure you keep in your mind, women have played a major part in shaping this community. So take a look at those. I'm not going to just give you a long list of folks that you can nominate, but take the time and really pay attention. We want to make these decisions. We don't want people to make those decisions for us. Thank you so much.
And before we go, we just want to acknowledge that, you know, Mr. Pennell is on the cover
Yes.
of Mr. River magazine.
Yes.
Acknowledging his 30 years of service. So
Okay.
before he gets out of here, just want him to get a little autographed copy, so I'm gonna get it framed and put it up in this studio.
That's pretty
Okay,
awesome.
well,
Thank you
As long as
for all the work that you've
As
done.
long as you're not asking me to sign a check.
All right. I want to thank you guys for coming out. We want your contact information on how people can contact the ANC and what does the ANC do when they need to have some help addressing issues in their community.
Again, I am Commissioner Robin McKinney, for Single Member District 8806 in the historic Anacostia, that's adjacent to Fairlawn and Bury Farms. If you'd like to get in touch with me, my email address is my email address is aa06@ansc.dc.gov. My phone number is 202-378-7452. And another thing I would like you to know that I am a notary. If you ever need something notarized right here in our community, I notarize for free. Just get in touch with me and we can take care of that, get your documents notarized.
Did you say free?
Yes, it's
That's
free.
wonderful.
Oh, well, the F word. We have free notary services here at Anacostia. All right, thank y'all for tuning in, and thank you for the work you guys are doing. And we'll give y'all a virtual round of applause.
Thank you.
And we look forward to seeing you guys on Thursday for the Ward 8 Commemorative Works. Thursday, October 19th at 5:30 p.m. in the Anacostia Arts Center, the nomination event for people we should be acknowledging. And we have live performances by Verbal Gymnastics, Playback Theater, and you can get more information at the website. I don't like the bit.ly stuff, but
AnacostiaBid.org.
go to
You go there.
anacostiabid.org for all the information you need. So
Yeah.
we definitely want you to participate, all right? And in the words of the late, great Dick Gregory, this is October 6th change. Stay woke.
Stay